You're now tuned in to the Dollars Not Cents radio show with your hosts, Anthony, Stephen, and Monica. The show that educates you about money and exposes the nonsense that we've been taught about money with a current news view. Get your pen and paper ready. Let's get started.
Good morning, folks, and welcome to the show. Yes, my voice is a little bit hoarse this morning, so I'm a little bit deep. Hey, Stephen, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, good morning, Brother Anthony. I'm doing well this morning. It is recovery from this long 4-day weekend of family, friends, and people telling all kind of false tales of Herculean efforts and stories of conquering and everything else. And you know how it is. You know what happens when you get around family. The stories of old, of what someone did, gets greater and greater every year.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of what we had this weekend. A lot of folks came down. It was a huge weekend, not only just because it was the Memorial Day weekend, and also we wanted to say thank you to the veterans that have fought bravely and passed away, and those who are still here with us. We salute you for your efforts in working within this system. We appreciate all of your efforts with that. But it was a big weekend, Anthony. My niece graduated actually from Johnson & Wales Saturday morning.
Congratulations.
So we had a lot of family come down from Maryland and folks that are living here now in the Charlotte area. So a lot of folks got together, and we had a big bash for her at one of these hotels. They actually had an open bar. So let's just say I was open to the bar.
They had to close it down because of you, right? Like, sir.
The bartender said something later on, but I don't recall doing anything that would have been shameful. But at the same time, I guess we did enjoy the open bar.
Well, I hear you on that. Monica, good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm good.
Monica, I think you gave me this frog in my throat. I think I got this from you.
No, you got that from the bus ride.
From the bus ride.
Yeah.
I guess so. Wow.
Hot, cold situation. As you can see, my voice is slightly lower than usual.
Yes.
It's quiet storm, man. Relax.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly so.
I'm not gonna lie. Some of my guy friends are like, get off the phone with me. I can't talk to you right now.
Uh-oh.
They like, you sound your voice deeper than mine. I'm like, my bad. Look, didn't mean to attack her to intimidate your manhood, but
right, exactly.
It's a cold, man. That's it. Don't be intimidated.
Shoot, but you know what? That's the thing about going on vacation.
Have fun, though, you know?
You have fun, exactly. You come back home with a cold.
Yeah, right. Your voice is gone. I'm like, did I talk that much?
Monica.
Yeah, you know. What? Oh, Mr. Asking Questions there in 5 minutes. Hold up, Mr. Asking Questions.
Oh, but it's all in fun, As Stephen. Go ahead.
Say, when I talk, I'm going in on somebody.
It sure is. That girl is good. I tell you, we had a good time. And we spent time actually with family this weekend, but we were on business, and
day, every day.
And that's it. A lot of people, go on vacation, and they take vacation and they vacate, which is fine. We will get to that point. But when you're on a destination, when you have a plan in focus, yep. A lot of times, even your vacation, and it's tax deductible. So I'll take a vacation and do some business because I know I'll be able to deduct that off of my taxes. You know what I'm saying? Right. So most people don't understand having a business gives you the power to do a number of things. And that's including, basically taking trips that, maybe part vacation but part business. But because you are on business, guess what? You get to write it off. Right. And, we were, of course, talking to a few individuals while we were there. And I don't want, like I said, mention anybody's names.
Just know we try to talk to everybody we saw, Dad.
That's exactly so. In fact, we met people on the bus.
Yeah.
I tell you guys, the reason why I do financial services, because I believe this is a ministry. People people tend to think just preaching, and, in the sense of, hooping and hollering on the pulpit is preaching. But to me, the best form of preaching, because if Jesus saves, right, then what is our job? Our job is to save too. We're to save people from this chaos in this life. We've been given our own job. And, a lot of times we don't understand what our function is. Our function is to serve people. That's our function, is to serve each other.
I agree.
Stephen, we talk to people on the bus.
In the cab, though.
The cab.
The cab was really got me, though.
Go ahead.
It was just like the ones that we got when they were just opened up. They were really from one was from Egypt.
Yes.
And the other one was Pakistani. Was that right?
Yes.
And just their view on life, it was amazing. Like, they just looked at life as far as, how we look at things going. Like, opportunity is everywhere, and you got to make it happen.
Yes. That is exactly so.
No, but anyway, I just thought that the cab rides were even more influential than just meeting the people that we met anyway, and really it was destined because the people we met, the first person we met was somebody that I recognized, and I hadn't talked to this person in 2 years. That helped me get my passport, and it was just crazy. I was looking like, I said, I know this person.
Wow.
And then we just opened up from there, but we just like let everything flow, and you just keep. Your word is your word, so when you speak to somebody, you have something that you have to convey to them, say it to them.
That's good.
Don't really look for a reaction then, because a lot of us, let's be honest, a lot of us do give out good advice to people, and we immediately want a appraisal from that information that we gave them. We want them to give. Most people are looking for somebody to validate them when they gave the word to them. The thing is, you got to understand, you just give it. Don't look for anything back, because if you're looking for a certain acceptance in return, then you're not actually seeing what it is that you're supposed to be doing there.
Yes, that's just the truth. Stephen, what do you got for us this morning on News Spread? And then we'll come back to that. I want to say something
that's some good stuff. I mean, I think we do that a lot. The news, there's a lot of news going on, actually. I mean, I just read an article. It looks like, and then we'll get into financial news. It looks like Johnny Depp could face up to 10 years in prison. That's like, whoa. Well, I mean, I don't know what's going on there, but that's interesting news on the front, and there's some other stuff going on. But as far as the financial news, looks like the stock market is all down today. And Dow, NASDAQ, S&P is down.
Yay.
And as we always take a look at typically the mortgage industry, for those who are still looking to either refinance or buy a home, the 30-year fixed is up slightly from last week, which is now 3.90, which was 3.88 last week. The 15-year fixed is up slightly by 3 basis points, 3.06 from 3.03% last week. And the 30-year jumbo is up as well from 4.21 last week to 4.27%. That's pretty much what's going on as far as the financial news that I've taken a look at this morning, and that's pretty much what's going on. I did see an article there. I was trying to find it right now, and it was talking about. Well, this was one of those things where we looked at, and this is actually a good point. It's actually talking about when casual office attire goes too far. We all know about casual Fridays, and we talk about, some of those things. But I saw an article even previous to this. A young lady was going for some form of computer programming. I don't know, this was on Facebook, and she was going for a computer programming job. And she went into the job, and I guess she looked at everyone around there and figured she could go in and interview for the job, kind of sort of casual, I guess, or kind of risque a little bit in the eyes of the interviewer. And she didn't get the job, and she posted about it, complained about it, because she felt like she was ostracized and unfairly judged because of what she had on. But people need to understand something. I always tell it to my family and my kids, you are always being judged.
Wow. Yes, you are.
Always.
That's the truth.
For real.
I mean, somehow we think that, times have changed, but it's very rare. Most people actually, their attitudes towards certain things, and again, the way you represent yourself in the.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yes, go ahead.
I judge somebody, and we in New York. I'm
right?
looking at everybody. But we was in the subway, right? It's hot down there. Dude had on a hoodie and a cap, and it was all like he had the hoodie on, not like it was on his shoulders. But I'm looking like, okay, you in all black, and it is hot down here. You are suspect to me right now. Okay, you walking back and forth.
You walking around like that, you are suspect.
You right, you suspect to me right now. You walking back and forth. Why you in all black, man? It is hot there. It's like 80 degrees, and we are underground. It is the subway. It is congested. It is hot. Why you down here with a hoodie and a cap on, all covered up? I got a problem with that.
And we wonder why, a lot of incidents happen.
Right, because I'm looking like, you walk behind me, I look, and I was like, all right, see, he about to get hurt right now.
Wow.
But I'm just saying,
and that's true. I mean,
if you don't want to look like, come on, let's be honest, that looks suspect.
Many years, and look, it get hot in that subway.
Thank you. So let me tell you something. We all judge. But it's how you want to be perceived. So therefore, you put yourself out there looking crazy. Come on, man. That's like being in the middle of summer wearing a trench coat.
Yep.
I got a problem with that. That's suspect to me. That means go the other way.
But people always tend to think, well, don't judge me by. But a lot of times, and I always say this, a lot of prejudice is based on some truth. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of prejudice.
Well, you always hear people talk about don't judge not. They use the scripture, judge not lest ye be judged. But people don't understand that's not necessarily what he's talking about. You got to use wisdom.
Yes, you do.
When you see somebody walking in a trench coat and it's 99 degrees outside, and they got a trench coat on all covered up, and they walking and they got their hands in their pocket, most likely something about to go down. So you need to judge that situation correctly.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, I seen that situation. That was when the banking industry went down. I was working at the bank, and some situations had already happened with people, offing other people. And I'm pulling up to work, and as I'm about to pull into this big building, it's 80. I swear it was 100 and something degrees. It felt like it, but it was probably 80 something degrees. But I saw a man walk in with a trench coat. I drove right home and called out. I said, I'm not going in there today. I went home and turned the news on because I said, and guess what? It was the same day somebody tried to drive their car into the building. I said, see, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I just knew I didn't need to be in there to find out.
Yes, exactly. And you see, a lot of times, like I said, we have to be careful when we're going for a job or some sort of interview. I always tell people, the way you look, shave, look good, look your best.
Ladies, keep the cleave in, don't give it away.
Don't wear the club outfit.
I gotta tell you a story, guys, because what you're talking about is perfect. Because I actually have a barber that I deal with all the time, and shout out to Derek. This is actually he's a young man, 31 years old. Has his own barber shop, but this is what this young brother does. He dresses for success, and he was telling me a story. He wears a bow tie, he's got his slacks on, he's wearing something where he looks really, really professional, and his clientele is very diverse. And his shop is family oriented. There's no rap music. There's nothing going on in the background blaring. His clients are CEOs, NBA basketball players. These are the folks that he deals with on a regular basis. And the point is that I was going to say is that he had a guy that was coming to do an interview, and he told him, look, you don't have to wear a suit or tie, but when you come in the interview here, he said wear either a polo or some sort of tie with a shirt with a tie, right? The guy, he tells him this for the interview now. He tells him this to come in. The guy comes into the interview with a T-shirt on and his hat turned to the side.
So they turn him right back around, right?
For success. Now, this guy has clientele that people come to him for a reason. So this is not the typical barbershop. This is not a typical situation. Mm-hmm. This is why I was attracted to him, coming to getting my haircut with there. So this guy already loses by coming in looking a certain way. He says, oh, well, I wasn't going to cut hair. I wasn't doing no work today. I just figured I'd just come in and talk to you real quick. But you ain't going to get the position if you're not ready for the position.
Mm-mm.
Yes, and that's the truth. You have to dress the part, and coming for success. If you're looking for success, that's so important. That dress is important. You're thinking you're coming to impress the boss by looking, okay, I'm gonna get this job. He's going, hey, first, go ahead.
It's more like don't assume what you think you can just get away with.
Yes.
Because most of the time when you do something like that, what you're doing, you're testing your boundaries with that whole establishment anyway. You're trying to see what you can get away with.
Yes.
You didn't respect the position, nor the job, nor the business at all. So you just say, I'm just show up like this. It ain't nothing but a barbershop.
Wow.
That's all it is. You didn't give it.
He didn't get the position.
Of course not.
Of course not.
But he's not even going to understand probably why not.
Yes.
That's a level of respect and understanding and respect. If the man even gave you the heads up, you didn't respect his advice.
Wow.
The man is hiring you now. The man is hiring you, telling you how you should look. First of all, there's no reason for him to tell you how you should look when you come into an interview.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's not his job to tell you that. You should know that.
Thank you. So that's what I'm saying. The boss told the owner, the person who will be hiring, said, listen, when you come in to interview, I need you to come in like this and this. And then you just show up how you feel. Oh, you just straight slapped him in the face and said, well, your words don't mean nothing to me. So why would this man now hire you?
Wow.
It's that simple. Well,
this morning we're going to be talking about, corporate credits. I know it's something that you guys have, we've been talking about, we've been kind of passing on, and I wanted to kind of really, so if you're out there, again, welcome guys to the Dollars Not Cents show. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning after the holiday, so we know that all of you are recovering.
Don't we sound like we are too?
Yeah, we're recovering. But, one of the things that we want to talk about is because, and even I felt too as I went out there to New York and we were establishing a corporation for one of my family members. And, we were talking about how do you get the big money? A lot of times people don't understand that to build a major business, you have to establish credit. And a lot of times too, folks, your personal credit, of course, is the start. Begin with your personal credit. First, make sure that you are taking care of your personal credit. I will tell you some of the things that hurt me along the way was, even getting a foreclosure, repossession. Now, again, a lot of those things I had no control over, but I did in a sense, because when I think back, if I had some of the knowledge that I have today, I believe I would have had more control over it, because one of the things that, like for instance with the car, I could have negotiated better with the car creditor. Even on the home, I probably could have done a short sale. Instead, we just left the home. A lot of people we'll just leave it. Don't worry about it. They'll take care of it. And it's so crazy, but you learn all these things and you hear people say, don't worry, they can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. And people end up ruining their credit. Young people, let me tell you something. Young people, you guard your credit. Guard your credit. I remember back in the day, people open up electric accounts, gas accounts in your name. And parents, don't do this to your children, please.
Don't ruin your kids' credit and then you send them out there 10 steps behind where you even got the chance to begin.
That's exactly so.
Don't do that to them.
And that's what a lot of times adults, that's what you do to your children. You're ruining their ability to either establish a business, to basically get the things that are important in life to them.
Right.
And we need to start young. One of the things here.
Also, Anthony, that's part of the problem with parents and certain scenarios. And the majority of us don't understand how credit even works. To this day, it's still confusing. I mean, how it works and how your credit can be affected. You could be paying your bills on time every month, and I've personally seen this. You can pay your bills on time every month, but if you have high debt to ratio on your credit or you have too much debt, your credit can still drop points. and points and points. It can still be dropping, even though you're paying your bills on time.
And that's a really good example of, yes, paying on time. In fact, there are a couple of scenarios that we can definitely get into as far as, just the personal credit. When you talk about that, a lot of people don't understand that banks are looking like, can you afford this? Okay. So if you are underwater, what they mean by if your debt to ratio is more than 30%, which means you are basically, you have no extra money to save. And what they're looking at is we can't trust you to do this because you're so far under that if you lose your job, and this is the other thing, a lot of times people get into debt because they got a raise. Oh man, I got a big raise, so I'm going to go out and buy a Mercedes-Benz. Knowing that just before the raise, you couldn't afford a Mercedes-Benz.
Right.
You haven't started saving, but you started spending the money before you even got it.
Hey, man, I need this new car, man. What you talking about?
And you know what? Yes, you know what? I'll tell you something. It's funny. This is the other thing. Peer pressure is crazy, guys. Peer pressure.
A lot of times we have this, and I think I posted something like this, Anthony, is that a lot of times people are trying to keep up with the Joneses, but the Joneses are not even paying attention to what you're doing.
No, you're 100% correct. And you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, but you don't know how the Joneses are living.
Right.
You don't know how the Joneses is getting their money.
Right.
You're sitting in the ghetto with a Mercedes Benz. I've seen people in the ghetto with Lincolns.
Yes. Drive by today. All you got to do is go by today. You'll see it.
Yeah.
People like, how do you say? Look, I am serious. I've grown up in. I grew up in the projects, right? My mom, when we came up here for a few years, we spent some time in, I think, one of the worst projects. Thank the Lord for survival.
Where were you at? Were you in South Detroit or something?
No, this was in Inkster, Michigan, a small town, 30,000 people, but crazy project. I mean, it was only, and it's the thing is, people stay in the projects and live there for lifetimes. We only stayed there because it was $45 per month. We were getting, it was pretty good. But you know what's, and I'll even when one show get into this, the projects is not the end of your life, right? And here's the thing is, we only needed to get to because of course, my mom, of course situations, and she had to move into the projects, but these houses were the bomb. And it's so funny how people were taking care. You can have a nice house next door, and then you have a crappy house with big holes in the wall next door. The grass is patchy. You come to our house, the grass is nice and filled in, flowers growing. I mean, this was
that sounds like a nice project. I'm talking about brick city, no concrete.
Hey.
Jungle, we talking about the pissy elevators.
Bro, let me tell you something. I know what you're saying.
First of all, how you gonna try to compare project to project like it's one better than the other? I've been to New Orleans. I done seen those projects, and let me tell you something. Those ain't projects. That's a problem. That's a problem.
I'm talking about good times projects.
Nah, man, whatever. Look, project is project. I don't want to.
That's when you get into the elevator. It's
how about this, Steven? Let's not compare smut to smut though. It is a project. Go for it.
It's a project, But the key is though is that a lot of this a project is if you have to go into a project, have an exit strategy like everything else I talk about. If you're in the project right now, we're not talking about you. We're not talking down at anybody because everybody has the opportunity. You take advantage of that opportunity to not let somebody keep you in that project.
Right.
And I see a lot of people staying there because they don't want to show any income. They don't want to work. Okay. There's a lot of people that stay in there because they feel that's where their life is easier. But it was so much crime in those neighborhoods. It was amazing because my brother's been shot at. I was sleeping in a car one day, and one guy came shooting down the street, and he saw me. I saw him. I looked up at him. He looked down at me. At that point in time, life flashed by. And, if it wasn't somebody that I knew or that knew me, you know what I'm saying, or felt, hey, you know what, respect, I could have been in trouble. I was a witness to a shooting, whatever. But,
problem.
Exactly. But, the key is, guys, is a lot of habits and a lot of things that we we've learned, during childhood, especially growing up in what I would say, houses that have no financial opportunity. I'm not going to say minority, black, or anything, because it happens in every community,
Right.
that people don't understand the power of credit. So, don't believe that because you ignore your credit today means that somebody's not going to pay attention to your credit tomorrow. And whenever you mess up your credit, you pay the price. Okay, you pay a hefty price. In fact, a car that you should be paying $199, you're probably going to pay $599. So you're losing both ways.
Mm-hmm.
You're losing both ways.
It's absolutely perfect. I mean, you can go from having, I tell you this all the time. I remember working in a car dealership. Lady came in with an 831 credit score, and her interest was 0%.
Wow.
He came in with a 501 credit score, and his interest was 19%.
Yes, it is the truth, and I've suffered that. But you know what? I figured this one thing, and this is the goal. When my business went out, and we lost a lot of money, and there's some situations in life where you almost you're not prepared for it. Okay, and again, with the knowledge I have today, I would have probably not had to go through a lot of that situation because, hey, you know what? I even tried to keep up with the Joneses. I had a conversion van, and, I wanted to save money. But yet still, I had family and friends and business coworkers saying, you can't drive that. What are people going to think about when you drive it? So I went out and got a big truck. My payment was almost $800 a month.
Baller.
Because, hey, everybody's like, oh, well, and I sat down there, and okay, well, they probably right. People, if I got to take out, because we were processing close to $50 million a month in checks, folks, and we were doing check 21. Our company was producing about $30,000 in profit, and I had about 15 employees. I'm not saying this as a show off. I want to show you how people start to think. So they're thinking because you're growing this big business that people are going to start looking at you and thinking like, really? But it didn't matter because I started the business in my house.
Right.
In a small room. And you know what? They said, well, when they Google my address, they see my house. And I'm like, oh, God, you can't get away. But you know what? I like things, and we'll talk a little bit more about establishing your business and how you go from being, just that small business at home where people will look at you to being a big business. I could have leased a car. I could have leased a car, which would have been in my business. I could have also gotten like a Regis, a smaller, temporary, because these things are, what they call a la carte rental spaces where you can have a virtual office. I could have had a virtual address. You don't even need an office.
Right, and that's a very good point, Anthony, and you would have able to save you a whole lot of money. And the Regis office, I've used Regis several times in the past.
Not that we're giving them any commercial time because they got to pay us for the commercials. Right. No, I'm just kidding.
That was funny.
That was my disclaimer.
The a la carte expenses that's associated with it, so it's not your office. So that's the downside to it, but the good side is it does allow you some sort of Class A type of representation.
Oh, yes, most definitely. And like it says, the good thing about virtual offices is you can be anywhere in the world. I could have a New York address and have stuff coming to New York. So there are benefits. There are different things and as we go along, we'll show you how to use these things. Because building a mega $1 million corporation, see, a lot of people think millions of dollars are so far away from where they are personally today that they think is unreachable.
Right.
But a little knowledge goes a long way. A little knowledge goes a long way. I could have saved even more thousands of dollars on a monthly basis just by having a virtual office. I was paying almost $4,000 a month. Listen to this, $4,000 a month for a 3,000 square foot office because I felt, if anybody's going to respect me, they're going to respect me paying $4,000 a month. How crazy was that thinking, right?
Boy.
But that's what we're taught.
Yeah, no,
that's
seriously.
what.
understandable representation, presentation.
Yes.
People do think that the more money you spend, the more that they should be respecting you, I guess. you
Yes.
know? But
Well, I don't
That
know if you
was a
guys heard of, speaking of money, did you hear about this big deal that's going on as far as Charter Communications has agreed to buy Time Warner Cable for $56.7 billion?
I wouldn't be. I mean, as much money as they charge.
I know, right?
I hadn't even heard it. My thing is, I hadn't even heard of Charter Communications. So,
Oh yeah, I've heard of Charter.
as you heard, oh yeah, because that's something that maybe the listeners were not familiar with. But Charter is actually a company that's smaller than Time Warner, but they're buying Time Warner.
Yeah, Charter Communications. In fact, I thought Time Warner was owned by what's that other company out of Michigan? I can't think of the name. We have another big one I think it's the biggest in the country right now.
Cable something?
It's another cable company. I can't think of the name.
Cable
but-
Vision.
Well, Cablevision, another
I'm
one.
not sure who's on it, but there's a big article on it today in the New York
Comcast. I
Times.
think that's who I think about.
Okay.
About this big deal going down. I know Comcast. I think wasn't a deal where someone was trying to buy Comcast. Was either trying to buy Time Warner or was
No, I
or
think
the other way
in
around
fact
at one
I'm
point.
looking at the deal right here. Charter is set to announce Time Warner cable acquisition. I'm not sure how long ago this was, but this one gives me the Charter. But Time Warner, I
They're gonna be
believe.
renamed New Charter when the deal is completed.
Gotcha. Wow.
They
Oh,
also
so
tried to buy it. For those of you probably more in the Northeast, I'm not sure if people have heard of Bright House Networks.
Yes, they're also in Florida.
Yes, they tried. They were also looking to buy them. It looks like it was actually no, they are buying them. It's the bid to acquire Bright House Networks, a smaller competitor, for $10.4 billion. So the two acquisitions would quadruple Charter's base to about 24 million customers, compared with Comcast's 27 million. So they are right there with Comcast now by acquiring Time Warner Cable and Bright House Networks. These companies are getting larger and larger. I'm surprised that we don't have the feds looking at these situations and saying, okay, you're getting too big.
Well, and that's an important thing because, again, these companies now have become so influential, even when it comes down to internet operations and, providing internet service. And I think what's going on is they see the writing on the wall.
Yep.
Let me tell you what's going on. With the advent, of course, LTE and which is, the 4G LTE networks, like what Verizon, Time Warner, all these cell phone companies are doing, they're providing high-speed internet wirelessly. And now a lot of these come, in fact, at one point in time, Time Warner had actually, and all the companies had invested in Clearwire. Clearwire is another provider. I'm not sure how they're using it right now, but Sprint now owns Clearwire. They now own it 100%. But what a lot of these companies are seeing is with digital media, with the what do you call those companies like Netflix and
like
Amazon,
YouTube, stuff like that?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
What they're seeing is they're losing revenue because people are saying, look, just give me the internet access. I will download. I will control my own content.
Yeah.
And this is becoming a writing on the wall for a lot of these companies.
They're trying to find a way they are trying to find a way to monopolize just like the access to the internet.
Yes.
Pretty much.
They are. In fact, it's so funny you should bring that up. I know we're talking about credit, but just on that note, the net neutrality law, and you guys want to look this up. What is that about? Mm-hmm. Well, what happened is a lot of the internet providers wanted to control the content. So what was going on, companies like Comcast and Time Warner were actually they were throttling your internet depending on what service you got. A lot of people wonder, well, why is my Netflix so jerky? But the cable company don't want you watching these.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? You just made me think, like when your phone whenever there's a new software update or a new phone that comes out, you ever notice your phone just start going out? You're like, dang, I feel like I got to upgrade now.
But they were controlling the price, and the government says you can't do that. Everybody needs to have access and full access to whatever content they want. In fact, they're petitioning still because they don't want this to go into place because guess what? If they don't want you streaming video, they can throttle your internet down so low based on the IP address it's going to.
Just enough to make you mad.
Just to make you mad, like, oh, that service doesn't work. But when you get on their service, woo, their service really works.
Right. That's like
they
somebody.
They want you to pay more so you can speed up your service. They hit me with stuff even at the office, always trying to get you to increase your speed. It costs you another $80. I'm like, man, I ain't paying no more $80. It's just fast enough.
That's gangster.
I don't know if you guys remember last year. I think AT&T bought DirecTV for like $48 billion.
Of course. Yep. Of course they did. Again, all of these companies are really vying for what is going to be the future digital market. Digital music streaming, and that's why I said taking over radio, which is our host. And guys, you're tuned into Dollars Not Cents, and we're really, what we're talking about is what really you need to learn about money, about finances, and there's a lot of nonsense that we've been taught. Yeah. And so today we're talking about credit.
That's something that we mentioned. We met a lot of people when we went on our business trip this weekend, and a lot of people were surprisingly entrepreneurs at heart. They all wanted to have their own business or do something serving other people, but did not know exactly how to create that business and still survive at the same time in the mix of creating it. So that's what we were talking about, corporate credit comes into play, and how you can utilize your credit to build your business without, coming out of pocket of your own personal money, right?
Yes, exactly. And that's really the key to today's shows. So we're going to be right back, folks. And then when we come back, we're going to dig a little bit deeper into this. We're going to explain how you can build a mega $1 million business, multi-million-dollar business, and understand about corporate credit. So we'll be right back.
You're now tuned in to the Dollars Not Cents radio show with your hosts, Anthony, Stephen, and Monica. The show that educates you about money and exposes the nonsense that we've been taught about money with a current news view. Get your pen and paper ready. Let's get started.
My arm swole. My swag is out of space, similar to a wormhole. Dunking on the game, like Stephon Marbury. I got a red Aston Martin, I call it my strawberry. All work, no play, this is my playground. Rappers on tour, but they riding the Greyhound. But they don't stay around now, my Lambo got surround sound. I'm hotter than plasma, lava, magma. Knick-knack, fatty whack, give a dog a bone. I'm like, get back, give me that, yeah, the king is strong. You like knick-knack, fatty whack, give a dog a bone. I'm like, get back, give me that, yeah, the king is strong. Honey, I am home, walk into the dealership, add another whip to my collection of pink slips. I am it, and don't forget, this is the remix. Go! I go back to bed, turn my swag on, took a look in the mirror, said what's up, yeah, I'm getting money, oh. I go back to bed, turn my swag on, took a look in the mirror, said what's up, yeah, I'm getting money.
Swagger on a zillion, I'm Louis V down like a Louis V chameleon. House so big like I live in a building. No chandeliers, I got guns hanging from the ceiling. Brand new car, I divorced the top. See, homie, you a square, I'm a Porsche box. Down there, don't care. I love that bitch, I'm in a bathroom, taking me a rich.
You're now tuned in to the Dollars Not Cents radio show with your hosts, Anthony, Stephen, and Monica. The show that educates you about money and exposes the nonsense that we've been taught about money with a current news view. Get your pen and paper ready. Let's get started.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to the show. This is Anthony, your host, and we've got Monica. How you doing, Monica?
Hello,
Hello, hello, hello. Steven, what's up, buddy?
Oh man, just trying to get through another one. Thank God for another one.
Get through another one. Well, you know what? You're going to get through. We're going to get through this day. We're going to get through this month. It's almost the end of the month, too. How about that? Wow. June the 1st is coming up very quickly.
Yeah.
Wow.
The year will be over very soon.
Yes, we'll be in the 6th month. We're in the 2nd quarter. And, you know, things
Time
are really...
flies.
Time is flying,
You're
boy.
having fun, right?
Well, you know, time waits on no man.
Right.
And that's the important thing. A lot of times people think that they have time. We have time. You know, young people are the worst because they think they have all the time. They don't realize when you get a certain age, you start aging faster.
I think, you know, it's just funny you said that, though. I think a lot of people, when they making decisions of what or moves that they don't want to make now in this, you know, realm of your life, right, is that the fact that you're making basis or, you know, judgment based off who you are at this very moment as if things won't happen in the future.
Yes.
You know, we can, like right now, when you were younger, you can run all day up, downstairs, falling on your knees, doing all that stuff. Trust me, by the time you get about 30, 40, you're going to take care of your knees.
Yes, that is the truth.
You're not gonna walk it. You're gonna walk. I'm not saying that some people can't be vital, you know, at a certain a certain age frame, but it's just the fact that between making decisions at 30 and then you turn 60, you're gonna say, man, if I had known what I know now,
yes,
I would have did something different.
Now, and you know, and that's so important. Stephen, just give us some quick sports because I want to keep on the subject of credit. I want us to really just give us some quick sports results, and then what we're going to do is jump right back into this subject.
Sure. The NBA playoffs are full swing underway. Last night, the Houston Rockets won a game for the first time all year against the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry had a horrific fall. Thank God it worked out well for him where he was able to come back in the game. But the Houston Rockets, led by James Harden, poured in 45 points. They're now trailing that series 3-1, going back to Golden State for Game 5. They were down 3-0. Nobody has ever come back from trailing 3-0, by the way. So they would try to make history by coming back to win these next 4 games in a row, if possible. And in the Eastern Conference Finals, LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers are up 3-0 on the Atlanta Hawks, with Game 4 being held in Cleveland tonight. And in hockey news, the Anaheim Ducks lead in the Western Conference over Chicago Blackhawks 3-2. And in the Eastern Conference, Tampa Bay leads 3-2 over the New York Rangers. That's sports.
Wow. Well, you know, and that's awesome. And you know what? And, you know, folks, we're getting back in because I don't want to spend too much on sports right now because I believe we're talking about something so important as credit and really just building up a small business and getting to that next level in business. And if you're listening, you know, one of the major damaging things to your credit, and I want you guys to take note on this, foreclosures and repossessions. Everything else you can recover pretty easily. Even bankruptcy, a lot of times you can recover pretty good. But these things affect everything in your life. You know, a lot of times credit can affect you getting a job.
Yes.
Job.
In the financial field.
Especially in the financial field.
You have to have good credit because you can't be the accountant at a business if your credit and your finances aren't
jacked up.
Exactly. Because, you know, if you can't manage your own money, how do you think you could manage your company's money?
Well, forget just being in a financial services. What about the cashier? You think I want to hire a cashier that's, you know, that has money issues?
Man.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, you got to think about the way I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, all these department stores, fast food restaurants, how many people running the cashier are kids, you know? I mean, you got pictures. No, well, I ain't going to go there, but I'm just saying that the cash tells you, the registers now tell you how much to give back to the person when you put change in. I remember a time when you had to calculate that mentally.
Oh, I remember that too.
You had to know. You were like, what, oh, that's going to be like $6.45. You know, you had to just know. But now, you know, everything just automatically does it itself, but you really still don't know how to handle your own money. So let's be honest. You know, you got people working cash registers right now, can't count to 10. So I'm not going to go there.
Right, exactly. But, you know, the whole key about managing your credit is really understanding that your credit is used in every single part of your life.
True.
In your personal and in building your business life. And one of the things that, everybody who has a dream and a vision about, building a mega business need to understand that, first you have to make sure your credit is taken care of.
Right.
Pay your creditors on time. A lot of times people are scared. And, it's if you have no credit, don't think you're good. A lot of people think, well, having no credit, I'm fine because I have no credit. When you get ready, see, credit is to be used for big purchases. Now, if you don't have credit, but you have a lot of cash and you don't need the credit, more power to you. But if you want to build something that's really huge, that's really big, and this is a key. A lot of people think building credit, you build credit when you want it at the time you need. No, you have to start building credit before you actually need it.
Right.
So some simple things, and then we'll get into corporate credit. Some simple things that you can do is if you have no credit right now, if you have bad credit, number one, take care of your bad credit. A lot of times, again, we're not credit counselors here. You want to seek credit counseling. And we'll have some suggestions for you guys in some further shows and dig deeper into personal credit. But there are things that you can do. One of the things with the Credit Act laws, they have said that, you can dispute wrongful things on your credit report. And a lot of times people don't know there are certain ways that credit's supposed to be reported on your credit report. And even though you may owe it, if it's reported incorrectly, you can actually have it removed. And a lot of people wonder, how does that done? Also, you can get a law firm that can handle and can dispute. You can also create dispute letters yourself. Yes. But one of the best things for building credit is to have a secured or unsecured credit card if you can get approved for it, and minimize the number of inquiries. A lot of times you go up and you go to these counters at these department stores, and the first thing they try our credit, da-da-da-da-da, and, it's not going to affect you. It's not going to hurt you. And that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. Don't believe it.
Yeah, those soft hits, man, are really hard.
But they're actually hard hits because
really hard.
They are hard inquiries. Don't believe that they're not hard inquiries.
It's actually very, very important you guys said something, because there is a group, a company, I'm not going to name the company, but they do a lot of credit inquiries for a lot of the big insurance companies. When you have an insurance license and they're checking out your background, people don't realize the background checks that go on with having an insurance license is pretty thorough to make sure people are legitimate. But they will check your credit, and I've seen hard inquiries.
Yes.
Reported on your credit because of this company.
Yeah.
Yes, and people don't realize this. And so, again, you want to, these department stores, these inquiries, number one, what do they do? If you have inquiries in the last 6 months, if you have more than 6, I believe in the last, is it 6 months, I believe? And again, I'm not a credit counselor. I'm just giving you some information. We actually have, with Icon of Success, Don Blackwell, that's coming up at 10 o'clock. And guys, we promote the Icon of Success program because, number one, it teaches us about credit. There's a whole section on credit there. But a lot of times what we don't understand is when we go to these department stores and you decide to do just to see, let me just see. And they're begging you, let me just see, you may qualify. And you're like, well, I don't know if I'm going to qualify. And they trick you, But here's the key is, don't do it. Okay, number one, if you're going for credit, go for credit with a purpose. It's like everything in your life. Right. Do everything on purpose.
Right.
Okay? When you get ready to get these secure cards, you want to use it just frequently. Now, don't get something you can't afford. Okay? This is a key where people ruin their credit. They go out and they buy big ticket items with their credit card that they can't afford, or they're doing it not to build up finances. See, when we use credit here, we use credit to build our business, right? If I need to buy inventory, if I need to purchase, marketing for my company, if I need to purchase, office equipment, whatever it is, that's when I use the credit. See, on my personal things, when I get down to the fact of, getting stuff for myself, I'm going to wait on some of those things until...
Buy it in cash. if you can.
That's exactly so. Or buy it with cash. But use credit. This is the reason why I believe America's in the trouble that it's in as far as the debt that this country has, is because people have abused credit and they haven't been taught about credit.
Nope.
Okay? So that's just one of the ways, guys, that you start building your personal credit. And it's going to take time. It's funny because you can ruin your credit so quickly. Okay? And family members can ruin your credit. You can get somebody that you think you can do a co-application on. Please check the way that they pay. Don't be just as friendly because, see, let me tell you something, and it may seem mean. A lot of times family members, well, why you don't, you can't help me out, whatever. You ruined your credit, now you're trying to ruin mine. Right. Because even as much as they promise they're going to pay, trust me, you got to, if you're going to do it, just make sure you can pay it.
For the most part, when you got the cosign for somebody, there's a problem.
Yes, already. There is a problem.
There's a situation that's already in the works that you're not even aware of. There's a reason you have to cosign.
That is exactly so. Now, again, if it's a dad and a child, and if the older person has the credit and the younger person, again, make sure that you can afford to take care of the payments.
Right.
Another way people don't know about how to help somebody build up credit. If you want to help somebody build up credit, this is one of the things that I was taught. If you're the person that has great credit, right, and you've been paying your bills and you want to really help someone, this is what you can simply do. You can open up your credit account that you have. You can add that person's name to that account, but don't give them access to the card. And what you do is when you're paying your bill, it actually helps them build their credit up because they've been added to a credit paying account that is showing them having them have good payments.
Right.
That's another one of the things that I've seen people also do in order to help someone else who has poor credit, but they don't have actual access to that card or being able to use that account. But it actually helps help them increase their credit score. Well,
and you're really getting on a point that I'm going to move into here when we shift off of here, because there are also ways that you can pay to get added. And a lot of people, like I said, you can be skeptical about it. I've used it, and it works. A lot of times a little knowledge goes a long way.
Yes.
You can add trade lines to your credit, and it's 100% legal for somebody who has a credit card and they want to add you to their credit line, without you having access to their credit line. But what it does is it gives you the credit history of that trade line. So that trade line actually becomes a part of your history. So when the bank starts looking, they're saying, wow, you have, 10 years worth of trade on your credit report, or, good credits, you're part of this. So again, these are important things to understand. And we were getting into the corporate credit. Well, a lot of people don't understand. Now that you have good credit, now that you've established a good credit rating, you're paying your bills on time, but you want to start a business, right? You want to get loans for, kitchen. Let's say you're starting a restaurant. Okay. You're going to need to get a lease, right? You're going to need to buy, kitchen equipment.
Yeah.
You may even need a vehicle.
Yeah.
Just imagine, because you may be going into catering, right? Mm-hmm. How do you purchase these items? How do you get those big items? If you do it on your personal only, number one, you may be able to do it with some cash, down payments or different things like that. Yeah. But number one, you're putting your own personal credit at risk, okay? Yeah. You can get it done. It can be done. In fact, if you call us, 888-771-7579, we will show you how to get some of these things done. We will show you how to get the credit you need for the items that you need to start your business. You can also establish what is called corporate credit. Now, what is corporate credit? Corporate credit is if you have a corporation, you can actually start establishing credit with various creditors around the country and around the world. And a lot of times people say, well, what's the difference? Well, corporate credit will allow you to buy those big ticket items and not have it marked on your personal credit. In fact, I tell people when they use their personal credit, they want to work on a way to get, if you're doing a business, you want to work on getting that personal credit out of your name and into the business name. So here's some of the things that corporate credits actually help you get. So number one, you get actually better payment terms. You can actually now get net 30 on invoices, net 60 on, different purchases that you may want to do. If you want to buy inventory, companies will now trust you. So let's just say, again, you're in the restaurant business and you need to have food orders, right?
Yeah.
Well, your cash flow may not have started because you may have just started a business. You may have just, or you're in a slump period of time where you need to expand your business. Well, you can now call the food company and say, listen, I need 30 days or 90 days, whatever their terms are, to pay for the food while you're building up the revenue. You can now get those options. Okay, so that alleviates your cash flow issues. You can get business credit cards. Business credit cards come, with large, what they're called. In fact, some cards like the Black Card, the American Express Black Card, are unlimited.
Yep.
Okay, so now you have unlimited access to cash. Now, again, in a business, you want to have cash flow. Okay, don't get me wrong. You're not borrowing money. Just everything you do with credit, you want to make sure you have the cash flow at least to be able to pay the minimum payment until you get to the point you can pay it off. Okay?
Right. So
again, credit cards, government contracts. A lot of people don't know this, but to get a government contract, and listen, you're out there, you want to, maybe you have this great project you want to do and you think maybe I want to do something for veterans. I want to, I want this particular government contract. They want to see that you have established a business. They don't want you putting this in your name. It's not going to go in Anthony's name. It's not. Okay? So better government contracts. What about automobile? Go ahead, say it again, Stephen.
If people understand, you're creating a separate entity.
That is correct.
Can exist without you if you set it up the right way.
Right.
That is exactly so.
You are a business already.
I'm going to call out these last ones because I know we're the time just so flies. It's like 57 after. But let me just call the rest of these out. Automobile leases, what I was just talking about.
Yes.
You can actually lease that in your corporation. Without a personal guarantee or a credit check. Right. Ooh. So even if you couldn't lease a car.
You got to say that again.
Oh, yes. You can do automobile leases without a personal guarantee or personal credit check. If you have corporate credit and you're building up your corporation, you can actually lease a car, lease a vehicle, without it affecting you, and you need a corporation. So we'll talk about those in some other shows. Business startup money and also growth capital. While you're growing your business, you want to raise some money. Well, you need a corporation that's established with credit. Yes, in most cases, you need a personal guarantee. But while you're building your personal, you want to also build your corporate credit. And we'll talk about in some shows how you can do it quickly. A lot of people say, oh, it's going to take years. Well, we'll show you how you can do it in less than a year. How about that?
Wow.
Okay. Low cost, high returns on, your products and services that you do. Okay. I'm going to go through just a few other things that you can do. Once you establish corporate credit, it's possible to obtain real estate, auto loans, credit cards, lines of credit with better payments, equipment leases, and low interest rates. Wow. So, folks, you know what? And again, we didn't really get too deep, and I'm going to continue this show on another show because a lot of times we wonder how to play in the big business industry, but we don't understand that just like everything else, you have to have a little bit of knowledge. And one of the things that we like promoting around here is, using that knowledge that we provide you so that you can go to the next level. Okay, and we were talking about corporate credit today. Again, we didn't really get too deep into it. We talked more about the personal. And we're going to have more shows on this particular series. In fact, I would like to continue on this if we don't have a guest tomorrow. I want to finish up what I'm talking about, how you establish this corporate credit. And we'll talk about Dun & Bradstreet and all this other stuff. So,
yes.
At this time, folks, we want to thank you for joining us. This is Dollars Not Cents. Monica, you want to give them some closing statements?
Just pretty much, the more you know, the more you grow, or the higher your score will be. So go pick up a book about credit. Get to know your credit and understand how to use it.
Yes.
How to use it with your personal life and with your business or corporate life.
Thank you, Monica. She's so deep this morning. It's all up in there.
This is quiet stuff,
Stephen, go ahead, sir.
Well, I'm going to piggyback on Monica. I think that people need to get to know their credit like they know their family.
Yes.
But know them better, because your credit will be there sometime when family won't.
Well, and I think about, and that is so powerful, Stephen, what you just said. You, I mean, really, really, you're getting like Monica a little bit over there. No, but it's so true, folks. You know what? Your credit is important. I remember a lot of people, when I talk to them about credit, they say, oh, I don't even want to look at it. But you don't know if somebody has stolen your credit. You don't know if somebody's used your credit. Identity theft is crazy out there. So get to know your credit.
Yeah.
So, folks, this is Dollars Not Cents. We want to thank you every day, Monday through Thursday, for joining us, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And also visit our website, dollarsnotcents.com. We're, of course, building on that. We're getting a nice site up for you, but right now it's a temporary. You can listen to old episodes there. And also visit us on Facebook, on Dollars Not Cents, and also on Twitter, Dollars Not Cents. And we will have links to all of our websites, including Stephen's and mine, on the sponsor page. So, folks, thank you so much. Have a great, wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to the Dollars Not Cents radio show with your hosts, Anthony, Stephen, and Monica. Thanks for listening.